Hello everyone! Welcome back. As you can see, we have a new and improved Tony123 here. Got my hair done, so that's super exciting. I have a really funny thing to tell you guys. Well, it's not funny, it's actually super depressing and sad. I actually filmed this political podcast, the entire thing, yesterday, and I realized my microphone wasn't plugged in, and my camera battery died. Isn't that so funny? No, it's not. So today's topic is headlines are misleading. The lack of bipartisanship in the media. The media, you say? Yes, the media. Okay, that's a very hot topic nowadays, especially with, our climate, our political climate. It's just the media, right? One of the main reasons that I decided to do this topic this week is because I started to notice that even when it came to your major news corporations, your CNNs, your Fox News, your MSNBCs, I was still continuously looking at an article from them, and my first instinct was to also fact check. Every time I see an article, I automatically assume something about this is misleading. I have to actually look up on the side. I have to get the accurate information about it. And that's crazy, I feel like our relationship with the media has changed so much nowadays. And I feel like now the fact that I can't even trust, the media sources that are out there because they're so biased and politically ran that it's just kind of sad. It really is sad. So anyways, that's why I chose this topic today. As a lot of you guys know, I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. I think every American, for the most part, is guilty of this. But we tend to be headline readers, okay? And it does make sense. A lot of people are on the go often. You don't have time to sit down and actually go through a full article, actually watch a full news clip on the TV. So we just read the headlines. You see a headline, it captures your attention, and it captivates you. So this doesn't actually just go with one political party. I mean, both sides are super guilty of it. I'm going to pull up a Fox News headline right here, and I'm going to pull up a CNN headline right here, and as you can see, extremely misleading. They both discuss the same topic, but as you can see, they're very biased, and they show such a different story despite being about the same topic. Whew. I'm gonna have to put an effect. Hopefully that'll fly away, and if not, I'll just look really silly doing that. And not just with articles, but also with the TV channels. I've noticed, especially now, we are in 2020, we are in an election year, and so you'll notice the coverage of the candidates is so much different. And I know we're in a crazy pandemic. This isn't a new thing. I've noticed this with the Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump 2016 election. I've noticed this, even though I was super young, I've noticed this with the Obama elections. The coverage is crazy. If you go on Fox News, they will not cover any of the good things, any of the not rallies, but the volunteer work that Joe Biden will be doing. And it goes the same for the other side. CNN rarely, shows you anything about a Trump rally, except they'll take, the sound bites of all the crazy, ridiculous things he said, which isn't hard to do. Sorry, my conservative viewers, y'all know how I feel about our current president. But that being said, besides that, but no, both sides are really guilty of not, giving an accurate portrayal of either candidates. At the debates, they'll only play those 30-second sound bites, those sound clips of the candidate saying something really off the wall, and they're not going to show you, okay, well, this is their economic plan, this is their idea about healthcare. They're not going to show you that. They're going to show you what sells, and what sells other than craziness, right? Topic 2 is what gets views and clicks? What gets it? And I think we all kind of know the answer to this. It's the things that are violent. The things that are super off the wall and absurd. Ratings determine which kind of messages get amplified, and we want to kind of be outraged. Consciously, we don't think, I want to watch news that outrages me. But I think, in our brain, we're seeking that out. I think we genuinely, as humans, it's just in our human nature, we want to watch the news that makes us furious, that really captures our attention. And that's really sad that you don't see a lot of positive news articles or news, playing on the TV. But hold on. A really interesting thing I found out when doing my research for this podcast was that there's such a huge correlation between sports coverage and political coverage. Hear me out. I was looking at, like, what was it? It was Tiger Woods. We all remember that. I mean, you might have been too young, but I'm sure everyone knows Tiger Woods had the huge sex scandal, had all the mistresses. I mean, I'm too young. I don't remember a lot of details about it. But when he was going through all of that and he made his return to golf, all of the coverage was at this really, like, low-key golf tournament he did. And don't come for me. I'm not a big golf fan, so I don't really know, like, a lot about it. But there was a place that he played, like a tournament he entered, and it wasn't even like a big one. There were a lot of big other sporting events happening on that same day. The media covered that event because Tiger Woods had the scandal, and the scandal sold. That's what got them the ratings. And so if you think about that, I mean, like I was mentioning before, you're not going to show, like, the good points of these political rallies and these debates. You're going to show the scandal. Like, what? Oh, my God, did you hear what he said? And that's crazy. So there is a little correlation between sports. I thought that was interesting. Topic 3. Everyone pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. We cannot ever overcome these biases in our news sources, in the media, if we first do not overcome our own internal biases. We all have biases. We like to say, I'm very neutral, I'm very moderate. I mean, I'm guilty of saying that, and I know I have my own biases. It's natural. Everyone's going to have a bias. It's how you're shaped. It's how you grow up. You're going to have biases. You're not going to think exactly like someone else, and that's the beauty of living. That's the beauty of America. Well, you know. And I like to think of it as supply and demand. Corporations, the political machines, which are the media sources, they are the supply. They produce these, outrageous stories, and we are the consumers. We are the demand. We want to see these things. You know what I'm saying? Topic 4 is a huge one for me. I've recently learned to be more aware of this and acknowledge it, but it's to be aware of misleading statistics, to be aware of misleading polls, exit polls, statistics on which candidate's getting more support, blah, 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 blah. And you really don't think to look at it, but I challenge you, if you're watching the news, this happens quite often, you'll see in like this fine, tiny print at the bottom, you'll notice that it'll show you like this survey was taken at, this college or this many people. And if you notice the sample size, the people surveyed, it's often not a huge amount. It's not like thousands of Americans. It's like in the some of them are like in the hundreds. And it made me think. I'll give you a hypothetical situation here. So say they interview 50 random people and they ask them, are you going to be voting, for Donald Trump or Joe Biden? I know I keep using this. We're in election year. I'm a political science major. You should have seen this coming. But they'll ask, 50 people, okay, are you voting for Trump or Biden? Okay, of those 50 people, 48, they purposely ask in very rural, very predominantly conservative areas. And of course, naturally, most of those citizens are going to, they're going to side with Trump. And they ask 2 people from California and very liberal people at that. They make sure they find 2 people that are very, very, their views align with the Democratic Party. They get the 2 votes. Well, because they had such an unfair representation, it's going to make it seem like, almost majority of the people voted for Trump. Wow, he must have a lot of support. And it's just so misleading. And I think we should really try to understand the importance of having different demographics in our statistics. You really have to look out for that. You have to see who's being questioned. You have to see where this took place. There's a lot of different outside factors that we don't consider. And we just, see a poll and we're like, oh, well, that's that. I can cite that later. And I think a lot of times polls and statistics can often be misleading nowadays, which is crazy because that's some of the main sources that people use to back up their opinion. Now, my next topic is kind of more about who holds the power. You'll kind of be able to guess with what this whole topic is about. But a lot of people say, okay, well, the government holds the power, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they're in charge. They run the country. But a lot of people can argue that it's actually the media. If the media is not supporting them, if the media is not backing them up, backing up certain candidates, backing up certain legislation, there'd be nothing. It's a little bit off topic, but it reminds me of my research that I did on my North Korean thesis I learned from doing that research that every country has some form of propaganda. That should not be surprising. And I'm not talking like America has, your World War II posters of like the, Rose of the River, like that kind of propaganda. But I'm saying propaganda is not always a negative thing. It exists everywhere. It exists in every country. I'm just saying, I think it's really important to remember the tie-in with propaganda in that it is existent in our media. And our media is kind of a form of propaganda in certain aspects. So just some food for thought. Before I end this video and tell you guys what I'll be talking about next week, I just want to clarify my thoughts on some of the things that are going on in the world outside of the pandemic. I want to say Black Lives Matter. Plain and simple, Black Lives Matter. There's no explanation needed for that statement that came out of my mouth. And if you're someone watching this who, has a problem with that or who needs an explanation for that, I think there's a much deeper rooted issue within yourself that I would really encourage you to look at, because there's no explanation for that. And Black Lives Matter, okay? Black Lives Matter, plain and simple. I know I have like 200 little viewers on my channel. I'm not acting like I'm this huge celebrity and then I need to make a statement. Like, this is something that I need to do. I'm not doing this for little clicks. I'm not doing this for views. I just want to make that clear, and I don't think I really need to explain that, but I just feel better explaining that. I mean, I do have a lot of international following, and a lot of my international friends do watch my videos, and so I kind of want to be able to say this to you guys, to my international friends. I want them to be aware that, these things are prevalent in America. America has some serious issues, deeply rooted, systematic issues involving racism. I do not want to undermine the brutalities happening in our country, and I think people should be made aware of that. There's so much good in America. Yes, there's so much good, but we have so much to work on, especially involving Black lives being lost like this. Okay, sorry about that. As you can see, hello, I'm using my camera. It has 4K, but I had some more technical difficulties. Shocking, my camera died again. Ugh. But yeah, I just want to kind of sum everything up. To my Black viewers out there, to any of the Black viewers watching, to my Black friends, to some of my Black family members, I want to say I'm here for you. I support you so much, and I'm very sorry that I won't ever fully understand the pain that you're going through, and I'm here for you. A lot of people are here for you, and this fight's not over. This fight is long from over, and we've made so much progress, I think, with the movement, but there's so much more left to be done. And so I'm here for you. I feel for you, and I do support you. For my white viewers out there, or my non-people of color, my international friends watching, I just encourage you to be more aware of the situation going on in America. And even though you may not fully ever know, what this certain group of people are going through, just support them. Support them, support the movement, support, ending these injustices in our world, and just try to understand. And just like be a good person, be good, be kind to others. And yeah, that's my spiel on that. And one last thing, just please, to the non-people of color, please don't use this like to your advantage. Like, it's not just a hashtag. Like, these are human lives, and so just be aware of how you choose to support it. And even though it may mean well, like, just please be mindful of how you show your support, and like showing your support. Well, that's all I have on that, but I'll just wrap this up really quick. Next week, I'm going to be talking about skepticism and why in a way it's healthy. When people think like skepticism, they think, oh my God, people who question the government are nuts. They're crazy. But I'm going to actually do a whole podcast on why it's important to question not everything, but some things. And I will be talking a little bit about the Watergate scandal, the Pentagon Papers, and a lot of times that our government has actually proved that they don't always tell the truth. Well, with that being said, thank you guys so much if you watched this. Thank you for supporting my channel. I got a lot of really good feedback from my last political podcast, and I'm really sorry it took so long for me to do another one, but finally have it done, and hopefully I don't have a weird malfunction and I try to upload this and, my camera explodes and, of course, because something like that would happen. But thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll be back the next week for my skepticism podcast. All right, until then, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.